Hey everybody, here we are for another stream for Unreal. Happy New Year 2022. This is our first stream of the year, and I got a few things that we're going to try and cover. Hey, Dave's here. Glad you could join us. And there's 3 things I wanted to do today. 2 of them are going to be fun and exciting. And then the last one is difficult, and I've forgotten how to do it. So it was going to be exciting to see how we accomplish that last one. I think I'm going to leave it to the end. Basically what we were doing last stream, which was a few weeks ago now, and we were trying to rig something using M-Gear, which is the plugin for Maya from Autodesk. And I was learning how to use M-Gear, and I left kind of at a point where I needed to find out. Left at a point where I was stuck on some problems with the rigging, and I continued on after the stream and figured out some things. So I got the it was a, well, we're gonna see it later. It's a lava monster volcano character that and I got it sitting over here. Let me just jump over to my screen and pop it up for a second here. So we got this lava monster thing, lava volcano beast I should call it, and we're using M-Gear to rig with it. And so anyway, there's a few things I've learned about it, and I'm going to work on a little bit of that at the end of the stream, keep it going. I guess the goal on this one was to get it to a point where we could do some animations with it, and potentially, hopefully, like an idle, maybe a walk cycle, and get that into a game engine so that we can see how it looks with the textures and stuff, and see what we can get it. And basically trial and error, make sure it actually works well for animators, so that we can give it back to the students and let them have fun with it. But so we'll see. Maybe we'll be able to get that accomplished today, because right now the rig is in pretty good shape. I just forgotten how to use M-Gear altogether, so it's like goes in your head for a little while and then it all slips away. So I'm going to be coming back to that one later on. And then the other 2 things, one of them is I want to change my backdrop to a new background that's available from the marketplace. So that was free this month. So I was like, hey, we got to use that. That's pretty sweet, appropriate for winter, and a nice clean setup. So don't forget to go to your marketplace every month and get your free for the month assets. The Winter Forest is the one that I was looking at, and I've got it all downloaded and ready to go. So we're probably going to try to do that in a backdrop. I have a plan on how to make that look a little cooler. And then the other thing I wanted to do is do a little bit of animation using Control Rig on a flying robot character that we have, that we're going to be using for upcoming game development webinar that CG Spectrum is hosting, where we talk about game development workflows and things. So this asset is we're going to get used in that demonstration, but I still want to add some polish and some tweaks to the animation. So I thought this would be a nice opportunity to show you guys the workflow as I'm actually creating the raw assets, and build up a little bit of polish on one of the animations so we can go through that as well. I'm not sure what to start on first. I kind of want to do the backdrop first, just because that's kind of fun. Hey, Lydia's here. Welcome. And plus I got all these assets ready to roll. And then we'll get to the animation one second, and then we'll get into the rigging. So let's open up our project. I got 2 major projects, like 2 marketplace assets in here. Well, 3 actually, but 2 of them is my plan. So one of them is obviously the forest scene, which is a very nice snowy scene that's got some snowflakes falling and everything. It has really nice water textures, and obviously the snow particle effect that's happening just in a small portion of the map. It's a nice particle snowfall actually, and pretty decent assets. So I was like, that's a great backdrop for another scene. It's similar to the one I got right now, but I made this like over a year ago, and you know, looking to change it up. Also trying to get it so it's not so I don't know, just try something different, right? Like you can't just keep, gotta have something new. So then the other assets that I brought in was the office scene, which I thought was kind of fun to have a bit of combination between the two extremes. So we're gonna use these giant windows. At least this is my plan. I have no idea where this is gonna go, but use these giant windows to look out onto the forest scene. And I mean, you're really only gonna see so much in the backdrop anyways, but I thought maybe you could put like a plant or something and see a bit of the shelf and then have it in there. So that's my crazy plan here. And then the other project I brought in was a bunch of other free environment prop assets that came. These are like, I don't know, over the months you just keep adding to your collection, and eventually you've got all these assets that you can work with, which is very fun, but not very resource friendly. Like this is a massive project because of the fact that we've got, I didn't know these were mirrors. Oh no, there's like frosted glass. Oh no, it's a mirror. Because you've got lots of custom assets with custom textures, and so it's not very efficient, but if you manage it appropriately, you can keep it pretty reasonable. So we'll start with this, try to get a new backdrop in, and then we'll jump over to the animation stuff. So let's see what I can do here. If you guys have any thoughts or ideas, feel free to just throw them in there, because I'm just messing around now. And if there's anything else you guys want to talk about or ask, feel free to break up the conversation with whatever it is, even if it's off topic. Happy to chat. So I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring in like there's a whole map of pre-organized meshes, but I'm sure there's like walls and stuff. This is actually an interesting question, because it's like, how do you get a preset map into another map? I mean, I guess I could just use levels and merge the two of them in, or I could try to assemble my own. Or what's another good method? Is there a way to copy paste assets from one map to the other? I almost feel like you can. I forget how that works. But I'd have to like have both maps open at the same time, so I don't know how that would work either. I'd try to put both levels in. Let's see what happens when we do that. So we have a persistent level. That's going to be this particular map. Let's see what happens when we put in one of the office map in here. And see how much that modifies things. Oh, it's just right there in the middle there. Geez, we're almost getting things to work already. Let's see. How did they organize all this stuff? If I get rid of the persistent level, we're going to have double. Some things are going to be doubled up. Let's duplicate this test map first. Call this merged office. And we might be able to just change the map. I don't know. We'll just get rid of and add another one. And that way, I can like get rid of some of the stuff that I don't need. Interesting that there's a very direct light source. Whatever. We'll just work with the light sources from here, right? Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. Not getting a lot of potential shadows going on yet. It just might be interesting. I don't need most of the office. That's the other thing. I only need like just a slight corner of it, but let's see what we get. I can get all these assets, put them into a folder. And can we just rotate it? Yeah, we can. Oh, we have a big like sphere here. Okay, so the way that they've built this map is they've kind of made one particular angle very, like, posed. Like, this is where you got snow here. It's the only place you have snow. You have very detailed snow effect and a lot of different environment stuff here. So I feel like this is where my office window should be looking into. Oh, and I got snow falling into the office. I bet this office feels very confused because I'm rotating and spinning it. That's all just part of the excitement of the office. It's like, oh great, it's roller coaster day. I don't know how I'm gonna. Where does this snow start and end anyway? It's like back here more. This is the particle snow effect. Just leave that a little bit over here. There we go. Well, I mean, the natural sun effect inside of it is doing pretty good. It would be nice to have more, like, environment occlusion going on in here. Ambient occlusion. I'm gonna try rebuilding the lighting. What is this weird object right here? Light pass portal. Oh, I don't know what that means. Okay. Another one over here. Must be for, like, doing some high quality light mass collecting, which I don't know anything about, so. We do have interior lights right here. I wonder if they can turn on. They're just static meshes, so. Let's see what the texture looks like. Got normal amount, roughness. I don't see anything for their, like, like that whole surface should be able to glow. Oh look, there's a keyboard there. It's using the laptop texture. This may have been rushed a little bit. I don't really know. We got occlusion, roughness, metal. I would kind of need to make a different mask just to make this glow, so that the emissive could really pop. Which I don't really know if I want to get into that much work. I could just produce, like, it's not going to see it in the camera anyway, so I don't know why I'm still thinking about this. But I could make an area light and sort of produce an extra secondary light. I guess we should try building it, see what happens there. This might take a while to build, actually. What else can we think about while we're doing this? We got a fairly decent glass material, but it doesn't really have a lot. Oh, I know, we should set up our cameras. That's what we should do while we're waiting for this to build. Make a full new folder for this. But he says it would be interesting to make the windows foggy. Yeah. Like there's like that condensation on the inside, eh? You could probably grab like a material from Bridge, Quixel asset or something. Maybe. It would be interesting. I have a nice glass shader material that I could bring in that we could just slap on there and see if that allows you to kind of throw on different types of effects on it. Might be kind of a fun exercise too. This camera thing won't take too long. Shot, I was gonna say shot a 1. I think we get the 1 in there. Let's build a camera and set up a shot. It's gonna have to get hidden. This is always kind of a slow and boring part. It says cannot bring substance glass material in UE for some reason. Right. It's because the only thing that you're getting from Substance Painter is your opacity to determine what it looks like. The reflectiveness is I guess would be another thing that it would be your roughness. But for some reason making glass is complicated because you have to change the whole like type of material to be able to be registered as a source of glass rather than just oh man, I've got some lighting not working for me right now. But it's what was I trying to say? Oh, you got to change the material type. So the glass shader that I made was from a tutorial, and I actually have it shared. I'll show you where it is when I get to it. It's on the Slack channel, and you just basically, that's the idea. You just kind of get a template that you work from, and then just tweak it so that it kind of does what you want it to do. It's possible that your interior light isn't going to have a lot of reflectivity. If the interior is almost the same brightness as the exterior, so I don't really know exactly whether or not we're going for whether that's going to be like the look we're going for. I'm trying to figure out if we get this chair to be rotated, maybe we can get a little bit more interesting backdrop in here. We actually need something on this other half here. Oh, there, look at that. We got a plant. Let's throw that in there. Maybe that's a little bit too big. But you gotta I gotta bring it in a pretty tight shot to match my webcam, so it ends up having to be fairly closed. Should really remember what the number is that I have to keep it at. I always have to eyeball it, and then I'm like, did I get it? I don't know. Kind of got it. We'll go with this. Let's lock those coordinates down. Transforms. And then let's get the focal depth correct here. So I grab my main camera object, focus settings, get the magnifying tool, pick what I want it to focus on. It seems like the snow is really getting picked up, which is interesting. Alright, and then we're gonna save that. Okay, let's talk about this glass and see what happens here, because there's supposed to be way more ambient occlusion going on down here, which it isn't happening from the light baking. So I probably either the light sources are using dynamic lighting, or yeah, they're using movable lights. So, and then otherwise I'd have to turn on ray tracing or something, which I'm not gonna act like I know what I'm doing when I get down that road. But I mean, that could technically give you some really nice results. But since this shot doesn't really see any of that, and you know, the ambient lighting here is actually not too bad, I might maybe put in some more lights just to if it feels like it's a little too flat. Not sure. Yeah, maybe we'll just throw another light in there. Oh, we could have this office light working. I could give you a little bit secondary light, especially on this black seat. Might be nice to have. We could get any kind of highlight. I'm just curious. Let's see if this light has anything else. It doesn't have anything either. It's like nobody has anything for emissiveness, which is fine because you can't really produce light from emissive anyways. So let's just bring in, I don't know, we could bring in a spotlight. Therefore, I'm gonna shoot it like this way. Just to get some highlight here. Go back to our cinematic for a second. Oh, I forgot to pin it. Alright. Ever since we've been doing our, so like our virtual production course, we brought in Tamir and we brought in some people that are, you know, doing a lot more virtual, like actual real virtual production set stuff, and I've been signing up to like different types of stuff on my Instagram. Like there's a really good follow that I've picked up from some random thing. They tell you all the set lighting. They show you like behind the scenes of set lighting of different types of shots. Man, it's been so interesting. Like it's just the amount of elaborate layout that they have to do to get a lighting of a shot that you don't even question as being weird. Like it's just a regular shot of somebody sitting in a dark room, and then you like look at the backdrop and it's like these giant like white walls of light coming in, and it's like super complex lighting scene just so that this person who's standing there wouldn't question. It's really interesting, and it definitely humbles me in terms of my own understanding of how to do lighting, and especially real world lighting. It's just like it goes beyond just like the actual physics of how you get that shot to look like it is, but it's also like the how do you get these objects, and where do you get like lights and sets and like the physical shapes and the power and the, you know, the brightness of the bulbs and like the color of the bulbs. It's just this probably goes way above my expectations of what's involved. Alright, well, I'm going to brighten it up a little bit more just so I can try to get maybe a sense that there's another light source in here that doesn't seem so gloomy inside of this house. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, I've lost my focus. I must not have keyed it. Focus and key. Oh, no, it's not kicking in at all. Manual focus control. What's going on here, guys? Key that stuff. What am I doing wrong here? Manual focus distance. Oh, sorry, it's the wrong one. Let's try that again. Set it. Key it. That's gotta be it. I don't know what's going on there. It's not overriding my keys properly. Alright, so let's just go with that for now. Let's talk about this glass material we were just gonna do a minute ago. And so in Slack, within the millions of library channels we have, it just says the things you can achieve with just light. I really want to learn more on that subject. Yeah, I think lighting is a huge conversation. And so one of the guys we have in our real-time course is specifically a lighter, and he's working in a virtual production sets at Pixelmundo to do lighting. So it's really cool that he's happy to help us, and be able to contribute to our course to make sure that all that information gets passed along. And you could, in theory, have him as a mentor for the portfolio period. And we do have a lighting, I think we have a lighting channel in here in our libraries, if I'm not mistaken. And, if I can do the alphabet here. There it is, lighting. But I don't know if there's a whole lot in here that's super useful. There's some good stuff. Anyways, what I'm trying to talk about is if you go to Unreal 4 materials, and we're looking for glass materials. Wait a minute, that's not it. Oh no, it's too hard to find now. There it is. It was part of John's original post. This was a while ago. And then eventually I followed the tutorial and I actually created the asset. And I just posted it in here. I guess that's pretty secret. It's like in a very hidden secret place. But it is available to everybody. It's not that it's not supposed to be. This is the problem though. How do you make things on Slack available to people when they need it? The search results, it does work, but it's you know, you still got to know it's there first. Anyways, we're going to bring this asset in here into our project and unzip it here. But I mean, technically, the tutorial is just right here. This is a web page tutorial that you can use. I had to admit, a lot of the stuff they were talking about had problems in terms of the setup, missing gaps in terms of information about how to do it. It looks like it's all there, but it doesn't actually work that well until you start to figure out all the pieces of the puzzle. So it's not a perfect system, but so in here is a content folder, and did I unzip it already? I forget. CGS materials, I did. Okay, so there it is. So I unzipped it already. It went into my content. Make sure it's in the same folder path, and then it will show up in your project. And here's our glass material, which is, you know, kind of complicated. Not too bad though compared to some stuff. I haven't actually seen it yet. I haven't finished compiling, but it should show up soon. And then we got some refraction on it, as well as some dirt overlay that you can do, which you can do it, but I have, you know, it's just a black and white picture, but I have had some problems in the past trying to get this to work, so no guarantee this condensation idea is going to be perfect here. Anyway, there's our glass. So let's try applying it, see if we can get this to show up on our material here. They're using just a metal. Oh no, this is window glass, okay. Let's see what they have in comparison. It's like, it's a material instance of a glass. So, you know, not quite as much going on there. We have some Fresnel effects going on, but not too much. So let's replace this with the other one. Actually, I should probably make a instance of it. Material instance. This is going to be office. And then we'll drag that over top of this. It makes it clearer. Ah. Oh, there's the logos. I'm like, that's not what I thought would happen here. I guess I could just go, let's just go to the asset itself and swap it out here. And then all the windows are going to be replaced rather than doing it individually. It says she'll check that out. All right, excellent. So there's our, it's our default like Unreal 4 logo thing. So to be able to do the, you know, dirt overlay. So you can kind of see it. It comes through as just an object that you can work with. So I'm going to try and see if we can get something from Bridge. I said there's a lot of banging going on here. I've tried to do this before and it was not very successful. So we'll try it again. Second time's a charm. Where are we here? So what do I call it? Water? Surfaces. There's a name for all this stuff and I forget what it is. Decals, Alice's imperfections. Maybe that's what it was. Imperfections. Leakage. It's kind of what we're looking for. Not quite it though. White marks. Go imperfections. Oh yeah, so there you go. Imperfections and what? Dirt? Fingerprints? We could do fingerprints. Frost. Oh, frost sounds good. Let's see here. It's definitely a full-on frost effect going on here. These are great though. I think this will be nice. We can get something that doesn't seem too outrageous. They're all quite nice. Kind of like this one. Let's do this. 4K resolution, download. Now that I got my bridge fixed, I should be able to export this to my editor okay. So let's try it. Export. Jump back to our project. Mega scans, frost. Yeah, they look cool on Substance Painter at least. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Yeah, there we go. So that's kind of our black and white thing we're going for. It's going to be a little bit high on the gray scale, but I think I can modify that. And then need to modify the material instance so that I put in a custom one. Does black, maybe I need more contrast, I don't know. I think you can modify it, can't you? You got your brightness. And then your, I thought there was like a contrast one in here. Max alpha, real detail. Brightness curve. Oh, there we go. Is that helping? Oh, come on! This is the same problem I think I had before. It's like, it's great, it'll work. No, it won't work at all. Let's bring it back down again. The darker one. I'm not even sure what element I'm missing here. Like, is it the contrast? Does that even have an effect, or is it like it's just not using an alpha channel? It has an alpha channel, or is it because it has an alpha channel? Maybe it's got to be registered as a different type of textures. Oh, I guess what we could do is find out what the original one was. Oh, the original one is using a material that is coming from the default engine. So let's go see. As channel false, registered as RGB true, padded color, compression settings. So let's do default RGB. What else? Press with alpha. All right. Oh, there we go. Now we're getting something. It's just a subtle hint right there. So was it the alpha, I guess? Make it brighter. Oh yeah, there we go. Now it's really blocking a lot of the light. Alright, let's see what it looks like in the world. Oh, it's huge. It actually kind of works. Let's see what it looks like in the cinematic. It's like lots of things we gotta check out here. You can kind of see it. Let's try making that a little brighter. Or more contrasty, maybe. I'm changing numbers over here. Trying to see what's what the effect is. It happens pretty quick. I'm just like switching the number and then we're getting different look. But I don't think it's getting better, so. So far I've got like 2, 6. And if I go to 4, 4 does seem to like definitely make it less, you know, more interesting, but like what else? What else can we do? Wish I could make it like super clear. Maybe that's more about the what other settings we got here? We got dirt overlay, opacity. Okay, let's try this. Ah, there we go. You can crank that up. Overlay scale. Ah, okay, so you can change this. It's funny because like I made this shader. Oh look, you can change the scale. Wow, that's great. Great feature, somebody. I mean, I made it following a tutorial, to be quite honest. Well, it's kind of cool anyway. I don't know if I should make it completely super visible, but it's definitely got some sort of frosty feel to it, which is cool. All right, awesome. So let's keep moving. We got ourselves a shot. I can't really see anything that's too like, oh, we really got to change this still. Definitely have a nice background and tree. You can see it moving a little bit. Snowflakes are without a doubt very prominent. In fact, they actually look like they're on the wrong side of the window. It might even be possible that they are. Let's take another look here for a minute here. Now they're definitely on the outside of the glass. Wow, look at all that! Look at all the distortion that's on that window. It's just really got a ton of bumps and stuff. Can't really tell so much when you're looking out, though. Yeah, I don't know, the snow looks so much more obvious out inside of that building than it does here. It's almost like there's a post-processing issue as soon as I turn on this camera. Where it's zooming in on it is producing much more effect than I expected. I could, in theory, modify the particle effect, I guess. I'm not sure what the snow's called, though. ES snow. Jump into Cascade. Color over life. Huh, it was disabled. Alpha over life. So, what if we say 0.5? No. 0.2. Oh, wait. No. This is the life. This is not what I want to do. This is 1. So start of the life to the end of the life. It goes from value of 1 to 0. So let's go 0.5. I think I should just be thinking about scale, maybe. Anyway, it's not working very well here. So I don't think the alpha is kicking in. Which might be because it's part of the material. Actually, that's a good question. I wonder what the material looks like. Snow particles. Here we go. Let's change. We just change this. Value 1. 0.5. Apply that. Oh yeah, there you go. They're much more gray now. So let's just go with 1. Well, I mean, I kind of like them being bright, so I don't know. Maybe I'll put it back up again. Ugh. It was at 3, and I just put that to 2, so let's go 1.5. Alright. It looks like a fake After Effects filter. What are you gonna do? That goes. Need something in the foreground to like move. I don't know if these plants could like blow in the wind or something, but to put some kind of like fancy material for that where it affects the wind blowing, which is like, I could get into that, but it's like, it's actually using the laptop material, which is hilarious. You can add stuff like, what's it called? Wind. Simple grass wind. And then start putting some values in here. But I don't think that makes sense. The grass, it doesn't make sense. Like, why would it be blowing in the wind? This is interior. All right, we'll just leave it there. Getting too picky. And then, so we're just gonna render it out and move on to the next chore, since that's a good third of the 2 hours here. So we're gonna do our render. Let's see, do I have, this is the old legacy render. So I'm gonna load up the newer plugin. Let me make sure I save everything. Ooh, look how distorted that it looks when I don't have that camera on. I could just change the class material, but just finished saying how I was gonna stop messing with stuff. Dirt refraction. There we go. Yeah, you can definitely see it's distorting it, so we'll just do it a little bit. Okay, save all. Add the new plugin for doing our renders. Movie render queue. Enable that. Restart my editor. And then I should be able to jump into my cinematic And when I go to render now, it goes to render queue instead of the other one, even though they're both there. So we're going to change the configuration. JPEG output. Let's do our anti-aliasing. Override it for 16 so that it doesn't use the game anti-aliasing. And it's going to go right into our movie renders folder. How long is this loop? I think it's really short. Like, also I got to open the map up. Well, I don't have to do it right now, but that was not too bad. $150 frames. Okay, we'll just go with it. By doing the render queue, even though I don't have the map open, it's gonna open up the map for us, hopefully. One or more jobs in the queue has an unsaved map in their target map. Maps must be saved for rendering. What is their target map? Oh gosh, this is not their target map. Merged office. Tests. Demo scene. Oh, I think I just did it all in the demo scene, didn't I? Okay. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? So, everything worked, but the office environment wasn't there. So, the office environment needs to be enabled. I used levels to load it, but I forgot to switch this so that it's automatically loaded at all times. So that means I have to change something. What is it again? Change stream method, always loaded instead of blueprints. So I no longer have to, like, in the blueprints, call it to be loaded. It'll just load up whenever the map gets loaded. So that should, just by doing that, I should be able to do this now. Render local. Now we're getting the foreground and the background. Hey, that looks a little better too. Oh, see, the problem is I haven't given any time for this snow to kind of start, so that's not going to loop very well. I might have to... Oh. I guess what I can do in... let's say Avid. The compositing program. The one that I use all the time, DaVinci Resolve. I'm going to have to anyways sort of blend the start and last frames so that they can so that the snow doesn't look like it's just like suddenly spliced. So we'll make a new project called Winter Forest. And of course, as always, there's another DaVinci Resolve update that needs to be downloaded. So, cool thing I just found out about with doing image sequences in Resolve is they've got this option up here to assume that your sequence is going to come in as opposed to individual images. So when I do find this sequence, it's here I think, Winter Forest, saved, we renders. It knows that it's a sequence instead of just a whole bunch, because it comes in as a whole bunch of JPEGs, but it's already identified that it's a sequence of images. But if it had been an individual, it would be like this. But sometimes when it does sequence, it doesn't understand it as a sequence. It still thinks it's a whole bunch of individuals. And that's because you had it set to auto. So by default, when you install Resolve, it sets it to auto, and it's supposed to be able to pick between individual and sequence at any time. But it's failing to do that, as you can see here. It's not understanding it. So you have to manually switch it to sequence, and that way you'll get it as a movie clip every time. They changed that recently. Like, I don't know if that was always there, but I only just found out about it like a few weeks ago. So there you are. There's our video. I don't know if we have enough footage to really kind of do a full loop though. kind of starts at about here. Okay, maybe we can make this work. We'll split it here, get rid of the first half. Maybe we can copy this. We just paste it. Then we have the same one twice. And then I'm gonna pop that at the end. I think. Hopefully I did that. And then you have a little bit of a... So the idea would be that your first and last frames are lined up if I had properly moved them from front to back. I can't tell. Is the footage exactly the same? That would be the idea. And I guess it doesn't matter whether they flipped it at one end or not. It's always going to be like that. So anyways, so in that case, if we crossfade the front, then we should be able to we have to move to the next mode here. If we crossfade the front, then the back sides should match in theory. Wait, why do I think that's true? That's not going to be true. I need to split it in half. So I'm going to have to take this, split this. Oh, I forget how to split things. Razor, splice. Take this, move it to the front like that. So that this edge and that edge are the same. And then that way when I do a cross dissolve, it's not liking that too much. What am I doing wrong here? We have to trim some of this. Cross dissolve, there we go. We had some footage now to work with. Hopefully we get a seamless blend. How quick is that? Oh, that's a little too quick. Anyways, that's the trick. Unfortunately, it's so fast that you're gonna see this constant like as we switch back and forth. It's pretty subtle, but it is there. It'll work. Okay, and then when you're done, you just I usually use the quick export and send it to H.264. Export it out. Oh, I've got a certain place I gotta put it in. Oh man, hold on a sec while I find this folder. Lost in many folders here. Of course, I can't find it, you know, no pressure or anything, but I can't find it. Why? Where is it? Where do these folders go? There's a certain place that I put them. Oh, here it is. It's a different place altogether. Where I put all my videos for my backgrounds. So I'm just gonna put it into here where my other ones are, and we're gonna call this Winter Forest. Routini, you got this? Maybe that's supposed to show an emoji of some sort. Winter Forest, we're gonna call this 01 because I want to make sure that I can make more versions. For example, what do you do after that? Oh, I don't know. Let's have a bear walk across. Let's have, I don't know, what else could you do? Have something internal as well, like giant tarantula crawls out of the plant. I don't know, I'm really not coming up very much here. Anyways, so then I just have to go and change my backdrop now. So it's like, if I go into my OBS and just quickly jump over to my backdrop. And add another one. Video source. Sorry for being boring right now. And we're gonna move on to our animation after this. Is this a free version of Resolve? Yes, a deer, yeah. We should, I think I have a deer asset actually. I could totally do that. Yes, Resolve is free so far. They haven't forced me to pay anything yet. Although it's been changing dramatically in the last few years. It's like one of these softwares where you're like, wait, what is this software? It's free? And then you're like, whoa, I gotta get my hands on this. And you try it and you're like, wow, this is amazing. I can't believe it's free. And then you're all like, wait, is it gonna not be free? Like it's like Blender. Like when is it not gonna be free? But I think this is a great move on their part because I would never have used the software. It costs money. So, I mean, if they really want people to adapt and sort of think about using it in their pipeline, it's a great way to do it. Like you really start to go, oh yeah, let's use the software that I'm really familiar with. I know how to get the job done. And then if you're actually making money with it, then you got to pay a license fee for it, surely. I don't even know, to be honest, but I would assume that they would make money somehow. They can't just sort of do it all for free. But you can download it for free and have it work it like this and do fun things on your own with it. So it's definitely not much of a burden to get going. It is a bit of a learning curve for me to sort of get to the point where I'm able to kind of get stuff done. But once you get past that, you realize that the software is pretty simple. There's not much to it. But it did take a little bit for me in the beginning to like get my head around what they were trying to do. Okay. So, I think I just turned into a new backdrop. Hold on, I can fix this. There we go. Let's go to cam mode here. Yeah, so we got a nice office space back here. Oh yeah, it's good. I think it's working. I'm not gonna spend. Oh, I gotta change my lighting too, which is a whole nother conversation about. I gotta set up a whole bunch of lighting stuff. Okay, so we'll move on. That was really fast. I really just kind of closed out of that right away. Didn't mean to close the editor, but I guess that's okay. So the next thing we're going to try to do is do a little bit of animation inside of Unreal, where we we're going to use an asset that we were working on. It's actually modeled by one of our students, and we've been working with it for a while for some of our course content. So, sorry, while I do some more searching for more assets, which I know I got it already. Just have to go get it. All right. And then we're going to use some of this content to explain during our game dev presentation that's happening in February, where we want to kind of give a good sense to people of how a game development pipeline works. And so we're going to use this character. Basically, it goes from he's got an awake animation. Wait, hold on. He's got sleep idle. So he goes from a sleep state to, he's actually forward this way here. Sleep state, and then he awakes. Oh, sorry, he wakes. And then he does his idle. And then you could do like a launch where he brings out his helicopter. And then you could do a blend into a flight. So what I want to do today is kind of make this flight look a little better, because this is really the main takeaway of what we're going to be doing, is having this robot character flying around. So we're going to add some more animation to it and just kind of show you how the control rig works, because I'm animating this with control rig inside of Unreal. And the idea behind the game dev presentation is supposed to be like a slice of what it's like to be in a game dev, where you've got a game, you're building it, you're working on it, you're seeing a problem, and then you're identifying a solution by adding a character to alleviate or change up the gameplay. And this happens a lot when you're in the middle of production. So we're using this as an example of like the designers are like, we need to make another character that accompanies the main player that flies around. And so then they hand it off to the concepts, and they come up with an initial concept, and they model it and create it and build it, and then the animators rig it and animate it, and then we pass it over to the programming team, who are like setting up the AI controls and stuff, and then it goes back to game design to like tweak it and polish it to make it so that the experience is fun. So that's a nice little full circle right there, where you get to see you know, how a game asset would be evolved. And so that's what we're going to talk about, the game dev thing, and everybody's going to have their little moment to explain how it works. It should be kind of fun. And then I have a little spiel talking about how to rig and animate, and Alex has got his thing about how to model it and stuff, so we'll have it's a little thing we're doing. Hopefully I'm not spoiling all the fun, but I think it's just kind of cool to explain it early on, and then you get to see where it ends up developing into once we're finished with our videos and stuff, and it should be nice and clean to understand. I mean, the webinar is free for everybody to join. It's just a cool little model. Dave, geez, don't need to go to it now. I've already explained the whole thing. Yeah, sorry guys. That saves us from having to do that. Everybody's pretty excited about it though. I think we got a cool little idea. Should be kind of fun to put together. And we're using, since Dave brought this up, we're using Dave's level too. It's pretty cool. We got Dave. Dave's got a nice little game built that has a character and action and stuff. So Dave gets to show off his level at the same time, which is something we got to talk about. Dave and I have to just make sure we get it all sorted out. John3D, did I try UE5? I have tried UE5 a while ago. I haven't really been touching it too much lately. Just because it's a lot of things that basically not finished product yet. So there's the element that UE5 is really interesting is the whole nanite lumens technology, and the stuff I work on doesn't usually involve that. There's a lot of animation updates and changes as well, but my hands are full, so I'm like, I'll just wait until the final thing is ready before I go over there. And to be fair, the Epic guys even recommend us not to like do any finished products in that particular version until they've fully released it. So I'm not too anxious to learn and then have to unlearn and relearn if they do end up changing a significant amount of the interface. Am I really keen? I'm really keen to do an RTX render. Yeah, for sure. It's pretty cool, the stuff that they've done. The Matrix demo that came out a month ago was just, it's really eye-opening, because you're like, this is really changing things, and we're really going down this road of like, what we thought was normal is no longer what is normal anymore, or has become old, and now something new is becoming normal. So there's a lot to chase for us, for all of us, to find out how that works and what that means in the future for both film and game pipelines, because it does really change things. But it's amazing it works. It's just amazing that it works. Like, you're like, how is that possible? Pretty awesome. Okay, so I'll try to explain a little bit of what I do for this animation pipeline here. I've created, because I'm animating them with our control rig, I'll just grab that, open it for a second here. I need to be able to come up with a pipeline that allows me to animate it inside of Unreal, and then also iterate on it too. So it's more than just a one-time turnaround. So I'm gonna grab I'm just gonna grab one of these existing. Well, maybe I should just start it from new for fun. Okay, we'll just make a new. I'm just using Sequencer as the tool that I'm animating in. That's sort of the main idea for the workflow. And then I try to name it something. Oh, you know what? Well, all right, whatever. I was gonna say I'm just supposed to just modify the flying animation, but we're gonna end up making a new one now. Character cell Midnight, and we're gonna do flying, maybe flying ambient or something. Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll do that. Flight ambient 01, so that it's more like you got your flying loop, and then you got this like something that just kind of makes a hiccup that you could play randomly. So I gotta remember how I did this. So if you look at them, they're just basically they're spawnable characters of the control rig brought into the sequence, so that the object itself and the asset doesn't exist in the level. It only exists when I open up the sequencer, and then it populates it into the level for you. And that's, I realized, is kind of an important thing to do, because otherwise you've got to match your version of the file in the rig and your scene and everything, and it could be disrupting all this other stuff. So it's better just to have it spawnable. Lydia, I'd love to stay more, but it's really late. Thanks for the stream time. Yeah, no worries, Lydia. Thanks for hanging out for as long as you do. I appreciate that, your company. And yeah, hope to see you again next week. All right. And then so to reproduce that inside of this sequencer file, I'm just going to drag this out for a second and drag in our control rig file and see if I can remember all of the troubles I had doing this. So if I drag it from the control rig, the content browser, into the sequencer, it doesn't work. I guess I was dragging it into the level. Is that right? Oh no, there it goes. Ah, see, it used the skeletal mesh, not the, hold on a sec. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna drag it into the level. Control rig, drag it into the level, brings it into the sequencer. It's not spawnable. This is why I had to find out this the hard way. You right click on it and you can convert it to spawnable, convert to spawnable. So it's got the little electrical bolt on beside it. That I find is the best way to work, because now if you close sequencer, the asset disappears. But if you open it up again, it should be there. It's not there. Why is it not there? Did I not bring it in the right? Oh, because I made a new one. By dragging it in, it created a new sequencer file, which is now over here. Which is in the wrong place, and it also is named wrong, and I don't even know if I want that, but whatever. We're just gonna rename this, or steal the name from this, delete it, and then rename this one to match that. And we'll open that up, and that's got the thing in. So I guess the workflow should have been, don't create the sequencer file first, just drag in your control rig into your level, and it will create your sequencer asset, and then you have to convert it to spawnable. Yeah, it's good stuff. Another thing that I accidentally did when I was doing it was I made all my characters like too big. They were all like double scaled because I wanted to make them bigger, and then I was like, oh no, don't do that. So I had to undo all their scaling. Right away, I'm noticing that this positioning of this is not in the right place, so let's see if that's true. Oh, and the posing. Oh, okay. This is why I would duplicate it. I found myself into another issue here, because the flying idle, everything's half in the ground because this is actually 20 units high. So make that down to the bottom here. Take this. Now, so here's all our keys for all of our controls of the Midnight. Now, how do I get this pose to be in the other version? Can I just paste? And can I delete the one that is old? There we go. I just copy pasted it and deleted the other version. Except for this character is too high in the air. Let's take a look at this transform. So does it have numbers on it? It does. These are all supposed to be 0. 0, 0, 0. Rotations are 0. Scales are 0. Alright, or 1. Okay, so that looks better. Now we're in the right spot. Let's go back to, what was it again? Flight. Idle. Should look the same as flight. Give me that one. Alright. That was a bit weird, but it wasn't too bad. Be able to grab a pose. Like usually when you're doing a game cycle, you're trying to grab that idle pose from the original animation and bringing it over anyways. I was duplicating it before, but it was actually causing problems for something that we're going to come up with later. In fact, I guess we could just work on that right now. So the way that the workflow ideally works is you have these sequencer animation files, and they're dynamically linked to your animation. Like this is just the raw animation, which is what you would see if you imported an FBX or something from Maya. But they're dynamically linked. So if I make a change to these sequencer files, it's gonna, when I save it, it's gonna modify these animation assets, which is very cool. Excellent workflow. I don't have one created for this ambient yet, so I'm gonna open up the ambient and we're gonna create one by just right-clicking on the main control and say create linked animation sequence. And it's gonna go and make one of those animation sequences based on what it's called. Well, animation, oh gosh, it's not even anywhere close to the name I need it to be. What would I call it? Flight and ambient 1. So it exports it to it using all that stuff, and now it shows up as an animation sequence here. So it looks pretty good, but if you were to like say, okay, well now I want to make some changes to this one, you can go to the ambient sequence and you can make a modification. So let's grab this and move it down, and then I save it. Okay. What's going on here? Can we make a modification? I didn't have my auto key turned on, so I just turned it on. We save it. There we go. We go to our content browser and we take a look at our flight ambient. Boom, it's already been modified. So there's a dynamic link that's always happening between these two. And the why that's really good is because now you can take these files and you can work with them in all the traditional pipelines of how you would set up your animations. You can put them into blend spaces or set them up into anim graphs. And they can be relied on as being your actively current version of that animation file, just like you would if it was an FBX workflow. And then you're just saying re-import from source, which isn't there, but it becomes that same pipeline. The only difference is your raw assets are coming from the sequence files instead of an FBX out of Maya or something. So that's what I've been learning about. It's been pretty cool. Not a bad experience, which is a good sign. And now if we so this is the flying pose. It doesn't look like a flying pose. It looks like he's sitting on the ground. But what happens is you have a capsule that goes around your character that determines their collision volume. And when you are walking or when you're flying, that capsule still has to be around you. So if you were to say, I want to make my animation cycle up in the air flying around, then your capsule is going to be still on the ground and your character is going to be way far away from its capsule. And when your AI or your controller is telling the capsule to go up in the air to fly, and your character is flying above your capsule, you're going to get like double transformation of how high the character goes. So you actually want these sequences to happen right on near your origin here. And this is my, oops, was it this one? No, I can't do that one either. I guess I do kind of want to do that. So if I grab this control, I can get the legs to move around a little bit. If I grab this control, I can move the body around a little bit. And I could technically move both of them and get the whole body to move around. And then you got your world control, which moves everything all together. But I don't really want to use the world control because I'm hoping to get some of that nice little secondary action happening from the legs. Like they're not quite locked in, they're just got a little bit of weight to them. So if I can animate them moving separately, that will allow us to have a bit more chance to say, okay, offset that controller a little bit from the other controller. So we're going to key that, and we're going to move ahead a few frames where we have the character. So it's going to be pretty simple because the character's not doing much, but it's also because the character is flying, it's actually really difficult. So I'm expecting this to be hard to do. But we should be able to get like a bit of up. Maybe I should just keep it real basic right now. So let's not do the rotation yet. Go 20 frames in, move it up. So this is an ambient idle, so we're talking about, let's get the character to change it up a little bit as we're doing our movement, which is like, okay, what do we want it to do while it's waiting? And I was thinking maybe you could have it like hiccup a little bit, fall, and then pull back up or something. Or you could get it to like sway, I guess. Or you could get it to maybe rotate, look around. I mean, it's all its legs are technically, it doesn't have to be locked in, but it would be a bit weird if one of the legs kind of tried to move. What else could you do? And there's 3 axes, so I mean, in theory, it could be like rotating in multiple different directions. Kind of like the first idea, where it just kind of hiccups and then comes back up. So it falls like a free fall a little bit, and then it comes back up, and then maybe swings it back into space. Because then you can kind of see that happening multiple times, and you're like, oh, it's just having a bit of a engine trouble or something. Maybe we'll try that idea. So instead of going up, we want to go down. Actually, I could probably hide this right now. Let's hide the ground plane. We'll take these 2. Drop it down. Sorry for the child kicking noises. Don't know why it's doing that right now. Good quality floor kicking. So free fall, then we pick it up. Maybe we'll just worry about the 1 axis for now. Overcompensate a little bit and then come back to its neutral point. We gotta have some time to neutralize. Oh, I don't think I grabbed all the keys. There's another one down here. And this is the part of the workflow that I'm still trying to get used to as well, is just like, what is, like, I want to grab these 2 keys, and I don't know a way to like filter it very easy. It would be kind of nice if I could just say I only want to see this control and that control. Maybe there is a way to do that. I'm just kind of blanking right now in terms of how do you do it. And in that case, I just have to copy both of them, I guess, because I'm not having any luck right now. So copy that one, copy that one. Then we'll get back to the same pose as the first frame. Oh man, it really drops and then doesn't do anything. Hey Riz, welcome. Happy New Year, Riz. All right. Try that again. So it goes down, and this is where definitely where you get into the graph editor stuff, especially for like this really floaty movement stuff. Let's just jump right over there already. Like, normally you'd want to have this workflow on another monitor. It's going to be a bit maddening to try and do this all on the same monitor, but maybe we can do it. Okay, so we got this C body shape. We want to look at the translate Z, which is not what I want to look at apparently. This is it. This must be the up and down. Let me just do a little test. No, it's like a sideways thing. So Y up, eh? Apparently Y up. Okay. And for some reason up is down. Alright, awesome. So I'm looking for a nice curve here. This is going to be really interesting to see how well I do this. Because the curve that I'm gonna have for this control is gonna have to be the same quality curve as for the blue one. So the blue one down here represents the feet positioning. So not only are we it's confusing because we're going up instead of down, but whatever. Alright, that's pretty slow and boring. Trying to think of what it would look like here. What is the graph editor in a TCB spline? TCB spline? Wow, I don't even know what a TCB... It's got spline curves. I mean, I would assume this is Euler because you only got X, Y, Z. No wait, this is translation, not rotation, so... Then, I don't know. Sorry, I don't have an answer. Let's see here. So, it's gonna be like... I mean, we gotta make it more fun, right? So it's like drops and then maybe like wiggles and wobbles and stuff. It's gonna be tricky because everything I do is I'm gonna have to duplicate it in that blue one. Just gotta simplify it down, get that initial look going. I almost feel like I could I just get that bottom circle to like just attach for a while? I don't know. Gonna have to work blindly here. We got drop, I go up, maybe compensate too high on the upside, and we're gonna have to bring in other angles too. Like we're probably gonna have like a what type of forward, sideways, rotating, kind of up, down. Like by the time we're done polishing, we're probably gonna have to try to put those ones in there. Okay. So it says, but wait, won't it sink into the ground upon landing? This is assuming that he's flying in the air, so it's okay that he goes down a little bit. I mean, I guess it's... I mean, you're bringing up a fairly valid point because, like, what if he was right near the ground and then he played this animation, then he'd actually cut through the ground? So, I don't know, maybe that is a problem to think about. But ideally, the point is that he'd be, like, kind of floating in the air, so if he was just about to land, then I guess we could make it so he doesn't play ambience and stuff. Alright, let's see if I can get some angles in here. Don't have any keys on my rotation curves yet, so... I'm gonna line up my keys so they're all on the same timeline here. Trying to keep them all vertical. So we got our X, Y, Z. X is like a very, very small amount of movement. Rotation. Let's grab a position of our keys here. And we're going to put in some rotation. So it drops, maybe rotates this way a bit. And that's going to force him to go like to the right on his way up. So I'm just deciding here. I'm going to go over this way and then I think I should have done that. Let's just jump straight to this curve here. So we're going to move him over rotate him back. Now he's going to try to compensate. Maybe we want that to be more expressive here. Now let's keep it fairly straight. And then we do it more over afterwards, maybe. And then that's going to move him over to the right. Then he's going to try to compensate. This is tricky stuff. I'm also trying to understand how to get the how to get this graph editor to look right. I'm like, this is a big learning curve for me. I'm not only trying to animate a difficult sequence, but also trying to like maintain a fairly decent pipeline here. Looks like we gotta be about that height. I gotta ramp out of this sequence fairly quickly because I don't want him to be too jarry as he gets back to his center point. So I gotta start pulling that out. And like, this is not necessarily going to come from other sequences. It's not going to be in a loop. It's just going to be like a one-off that kind of shows up out of nowhere. That's too slow. Which is probably for the best. Let's take a look at our other mode here. And then I can say, okay, well, if it's too slow, let's take more away from the back and let it settle out for longer. So where would it be too slow? It'd be like, it drops pretty quick. And it's right here, there's a huge gap. Let's bring that in. I'll probably bring this in a bit. And that gives us lots of time to sort of settle out. So we might need to do another shake where we go a little bit too far and we come back. That. Trying to ignore the legs because they're totally distracting. Alright, so there's definitely some curves that need to be smoothed out. I feel like the fall could be almost a little bit quicker. And I wonder if we could make it happen a little bit like more unexpected. So like if we were to take these keys and drag them out so that the character kind of just holds for a bit before it falls, and that might just be like a bit more of a surprise to the robot as well. So as soon as he rotates this way, he's gonna start moving over immediately. And I feel like we've got a block on our traveling that direction. So what is it? I gotta figure out these axes. Let's switch this to local so that I can see what color it is. So it looks like we're traveling what on the red, which is your X. So I want that to be like as soon as he starts rotating. Why is it not quite looking like it's angled right? That's not a good sign. I blame my own rigging for that. This circle controller is not lined up to the direction of the character very well. Ooh. But anyway, so as you can see here, it rotates and then he starts to travel over until he starts to rotate this way, and then he'll travel back, level out. In theory, we don't have anything, but we could say this axis as well. Could like have an effect. Oh, that's the up and down. That's not accurate. Oh, it is accurate. Sorry, blue. Let's see here. We go back. Then we come up. So maybe at this point, go forward. Just trying to throw in a little bit more variation here. I want to kind of make it so that there's a bit more interesting data going on. So right now he's going forward way more than he's going backward. And because my keys are not locking very well to my timelines, I'm going to have a real mess when I go back. Alright, this is probably too early. I'm not sure if this makes any sense. I go from one extreme in the back corner and then I go to the front corner, but it feels like it's already, like that's the corner. Why does it feel like it's kind of shifting? It doesn't quite feel right for some reason. Let's just take a look at this as a bigger picture first before I get too much detail here. Got some movements that feel pretty good, but this part right here feels kind of unnecessary. Like it seems too slow and floaty still. You gotta like beef up the up and down, I guess. Down. Up. Oh, something hit solid there. Boom. What is that? It's traveling. It's just, I think it's a coincidence of the speed it's rotating. Well, these are always tricky. Take a look at my rotations. Something might be not feeling right here. A nice quick turn, but doesn't, maybe it doesn't happen at the right pace. Maybe we'll make it a little bit sooner. Usually that is how it works with flying objects. You have like your rotation and then the movement happens afterwards. Maybe I'm just a little bit too late with these movements. Okay, well, it's getting there, but there is something weird about like whatever's happening right where it hits this thing. Don't think it's actually the object either. Okay, let's see if this blue circle can follow this action or not. So the blue circle is really represented as like a positional space for all 4 foot controllers. So I can move the 4 controllers, the foot controllers individually, but this is kind of a nice way to be able to move them all together. At least that was the idea. So if I can make it so that they travel in the same position, but not perfectly in the same position, then it might work out. I like how my music that's like sounds like I'm in a race to get this finished. I feel like I'm gonna get too much noise doing this. I wonder, is it the rotation of this that's so sharp? Why does that feel so sharp? There's nothing there that's tight. I don't understand why that comes off so rigid. Like right there. What is that? It's change of direction. Something's happening really quick. Anyways. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Got too much leg movement for sure, but is it salvageable? I think that's where we're at right now. I prefer to like have all my keys together, but been really tricky to see that happen in this particular workflow, especially when you got lots of secondary action going on. Yeah, it's definitely like oh, you can pin them. Oh, that just opens them up. You can pin individual ones. so I'm gonna keep plugging away with this for a little bit more, but there was one other thing I wanted to do today, which I'm not sure I'm gonna have time to get to. Now that we're running down to the last 15 minutes here. And I also, well, I could do that offline, I guess. So we may just, I mean, I'm kind of not liking the fact that the legs are so poppy, which I guess I could have expected that since there's such a small threshold between where the IKs can come and go, but I guess that was my learning lesson for the day. I can always still grab, in theory, if I can't figure out how to get one leg to stop popping, I can still grab like that leg's controller and modify it. So for example, this leg, which is coming too far, I don't know if this is the best approach, and definitely if I was going to do this, this would be something I want to do at the end of my strategies here. But you could do a little bit of an offset, like as if it was motion capture cleanup here. You just bring that down by itself. Oh, it actually works pretty good. But you do too much of that, and then it's going to become very like you're fighting. You're always fighting these curves. You don't want to have like that would be like a final last minute polish thing rather than a substantial pipeline, because you can easily get yourself into a situation where you're spending like you're making every single key fixed and you're doing everything you can to stop it from bugging out on you, and like every key of every frame is like got some sort of modification on it, which is not a good place to be. And it's one of the big things you want to avoid when you're animating, is being in a situation where you just can't, like somebody asks you to do a quick fix and you've got a key on every single frame in your timeline, and you're like, well, that's going to take me all day to make that little fix. And that's just, unfortunately, that's a bad position to put yourself in. You should be in a situation where it's like, okay, I've only got 7 keys for that sequence because I've been very careful about it. And then you don't have to, you know, it would only take you an hour to fix instead of a full day. And you find when you get like so many keys all mashed up together anyways, it doesn't matter how hard you try, it still looks like junk because you've got this slight boiling effect where something is just moving really rapidly and you're like, what is happening here? Like there's just some weird effect that's going on. So it's never a good idea to get in that position. But it's kind of working for me here with this little tweak. I do a key before and I do a key after based on its original position, and then I do my tweak in the middle, and that way I can like just kind of put a little bit of offset in there. I don't know if this is actually, can't say that was perfect. That looked kind of crazy. You can see it goes in, out, out. It's like there's definitely multiple movements there. It's not a good sign. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that was the right call. So yeah, I might have to come back at this and think of a different way to approach it. Like, technically, if I maybe could just copy paste the keys of the main one and then put them in there. I don't know if this is same orientation. Yeah. Well, wait, hold on. No, it's not though. This one's got a little bit of a screwed up orientation. And you can't just sort of like attach one control to another. Well, I guess I could go into the control rig and say something like that. Oh my gosh, I hadn't thought of that. Go in the control rig, add something that says like, make this follow the body. And then I could just delete all these keys and just do a post offset. Yeah, that might be the solution. Okay, well anyways, so let me just I mean, we'll just take another look at that again before we wrap it up. 'Cause I'm going to make a rig change, I think. That's probably the best approach to allow that to follow easier. And then I got to think of how exactly you're going to visualize that for the animator. And then the other thing we were going to do, since I got the file open, I might as well cover it. Save, close, close. Here's our animation here. This looks pretty frantic. Is talk about this control rig thing. So I don't know how many people are still watching or interested at this point, but since I have it open, I do want to talk about it. Better do it. So when we left last week, we were talking about this character that we were animating with. We were going to animate with. I don't appear to have any textures on it, but there was textures for this one. Oh, it's in reference mode? Oh. That's alright. Well, anyway, it's a mesh that was made by a student, and we're going to try and animate it. And I have a control rig now that's been set up, and we're using M gear. So I'm just getting sort of remembering how this works and getting a refresher on how this works. We'll probably come back to this next week and discuss how to, you know, maybe bring this into a next series. But part of the issues I had before I left was a lot of the controls I was working with and the setup wasn't working very well. Once I stuck to it for a little bit, I got the hang of it. Some of the interesting things is, like, I had to manually scale these wireframe pieces, and by just, you know, going to their control vertexes and modifying how big they are. And by doing that, you can store that offset somehow. So all the stuff that you do in the rigging is in the shifter. Build a guide from template file. Import guide template samples. No fit guide. Update guide. Extract controls. Build from selection. Skin weights. Rig bits. Cannon bits. Oh, darn, I forget how I did it. There was a way that you could, like, store that change into it so that it would show up. Let's just do a little test here. So I've distorted that controller, because this is the controller the animator is going to be using. And no? Where was it? What was it? Mr. Wayne. Oh, export guide template? No, that actually is the full template. All I'm doing is changing one little thing. Add controls. Alright, let's try that. So then you can just delete the rig, put you back to your guides, and then you can just say, okay, I want my main, you pick your main guide, and you can rebuild your guide, build from selection. It goes through the operation of building it. Look at that, it helped, it saved my change. Okay, so that's kind of cool. So it remembered the modification I did to the original one because I extracted it. And then you can also mirror it, but like, that just seems too hard to believe. There's no way. How did I do that? Duplicate, symmetry. No. But like once you figure out one side of it, you can just duplicate it to the other side of it pretty easily. But it's interesting how it's actually using like the controls in a sort of a separate way. What's a guide manager? Oh my gosh, I don't even know what this is. Look at symmetry. Oh, this looks good. These are all the individual things that I've modified. As you can see, I'm still learning a lot about this. Not sure. I just pick both of them. I don't know why duplicate is the word I want. Anyways, I was pretty surprised that I figured out how much I did. I was like, wow, this is really working out great. I can't believe this is all working. And then and that happened just before the break, and then I forgot everything. So it was completely like, oh no, how am I? Hey, Dave's still here watching. Excellent. And I was like, how am I gonna? What was I doing again? And to be honest, it's taking a lot longer to remember how to do it than I thought it would. So I might have to just sit here and play with it for a while to get myself back up to speed. But the tools are pretty decent for setups. I've been impressed by how easily it was to get things working, and I think where the big benefit of this whole system is the fact that it's I'm building a quadruped, which is a very difficult thing to do on a lot of rigs. And if you did want to do biped characters, they have a lot of different setups already preset for guides for like the mannequin, the epic Unreal mannequin, and the metahumans, using the Y up default, and I think there's a lot of exploring that I can still do with this, which may really start to eliminate some of the bottlenecks of, you know, how do you get something that you can animate with in Maya, or modify potentially. I don't know, I haven't really worked with that pipeline, but if you could somehow import your animation and have a control rig working on it, it might be something to look through, especially since they have like this whole mocap thing. And they have a whole bunch of other tools for doing custom stuff. I think that's where I really did get stuck though when I was working on my own, was I just wanted to build an extra joint because this particular mesh has like this lava that's spilling out from the top. And I wanted to be able to build an extra joint for this lava, and I couldn't figure it out. It was like so complicated. So that's where I'm really stuck. I was going to ask John Robbins, who's one of our mentors who uses M-Gear, just to figure out what the solution was that. But I thought, well, you know, okay, I can come back to that later once we get everything exported and working properly. You know, even at this point, you've got technically your joint, you got your joint set up here, ready to go. And now we've got this ridiculous modification that I did, but whatever. It's just for the control. Oh, and we haven't got to the skinning yet, so none of these controls are actually skinned to the mesh, but that shouldn't be too difficult. I think you just literally just grab the skeleton and do your skinning yourself. And then there's a whole workflow about how can you recover your skin and weights. You can copy your skinning, import it, export it. So there's some tool sets here as well that might be really nice for you know, helping rescue skinning, but I think all we have to really do here is, got my reference on here, is pick the skeleton, pick the mesh, you head over to your rigging, and bind your skin so that it uses the default, you know, I'm using 5 influences and basic skinning here. That's not working. Oh, what do you want me to do? Did I pick the wrong thing? What's going on here? Just tell me the error. Why was it closing and reopening? You must have at least one joint selected. Alright. Guess I gotta start here then. There we go. So just by doing that, I got the geodesic voxel skinning. I should be able to grab the right control to move the body around. Now it's all about, you know, getting your skinning to look correct with the skeleton. But in theory, you do have a skeleton applied that is where these controllers are supposed to be. Trying to figure out still the best layout of how these controllers look and work. Like, we got this giant one here, and that's just for the eyeball. I'm like, why did you decide that eyeball to be so huge? It's so weird. Or for example, like this is the mouth, I think, the jaw one. But when I rotate it, oh, it doesn't do anything when I rotate it. That's weird. Usually it flaps the jaw open really fast, like way too fast. Oh, is this it? No, that's something else. But we've got upper lip, bottom lip, so we've got a little bit of flexibility there, and technically this jaw is supposed to rotate. I don't know what's going on here. It was set up to rotate. But whatever reason, I can't rotate that one axis that I need to rotate. There, this one. Why can't I do that one normally? But it's for some reason super, super fast, and I don't know why. But you could, in theory, get the jaw to be skinned properly, and so that looks nice. And then these feet controllers have a lot of nice features, but they're just really messy right now because I can't quite get the sense of how it's supposed to be working. And like, so it almost requires me maybe to find something that's more simple. But look how this rolls. Like, it keeps that toe on the ground, and then it brings the rest of the foot down, so it goes up on the heel. So it's using a nice you know, placement of where the edges of that foot is. It's using these guides to know that that foot is that big, so that it rolls around where it's supposed to be, and then it rolls up on the toe. The skinning can be fixed, and I think that toe won't go through the ground anymore, but it does try to roll where it's supposed to be rolling. So it could be a pretty cool rig if you're trying to like get that nice movement of the toes and stuff rolling over. Anyways, that's where we're going with that one. I think next week I'm going to try and pick that up, and hopefully I'll have some time to review it and get a good sense of where we can go, so we can get this in the Unreal Engine and get it to be working so that we can actually have some nice results. This is going to be a workflow where you're animating in Maya instead of in instead of like control rig stuff that I was trying to do earlier. And so it might be more of a traditional fun pipeline, and I don't think it'll take too long to do some cycles. We get it out there, get a sequence moving, and then maybe explore some other extra features that we can learn about, and just take one step at a time of learning how to use M-Gear, because it's just a whole new tool set I've never used before. Anyways, I'll leave it there. Thanks for everybody for watching, and I will see you next week. All right, take care, everybody.